You know, if I ever figure out a way to plug this to my back end and get the same reaction, I ain't making a how-to video out of it. I'm selling it. Hey folks, we're back again with another video, and today we're going to be installing and bleeding a Rockshox Reverb 1X remote to a reverb dropper post. So I wasn't planning on making this video. I had recently finished making a video, a 600-hour full-service video on a Rockshox C1 chassis reverb post, and while I was editing it, it just struck me that, you know, there's a lot of people that buy these posts brand new on bikes, never service them, never remove the cable, and probably don't know how to bleed the cable if they wanted to put it back into the post. So that's what this video is going to be about. And I'm going to try and make it as short and simple as possible because this is an easy job and I guarantee you that you can do this job, okay? Next, let's go into the tools needed for the job. As for tools, not all that much is needed here. So for starters, we're going to want to attach the cable to the actual dropper. There's a nut at the end of the cable, 13 millimeter or adjustable wrench, or Nipex pliers, channel lock. Just be careful with it. We don't have to go too crazy torquing it down, right? Just some good force and you will be good. For the bleed screw on the dropper, it is a T10. And then what we're going to need to do is go to the remote and loosen or take out the resistance screw, which is a T25 on the remote side, okay? Syringes. So this is a 1X remote. On the dropper side, any typical SRAM bleed syringe will work. But on this 1X remote, there is a special bleeding edge tool that fits in the remote that you will need. So you will have to buy, well, you're going to need both of them, but ultimately these you could buy with like brakes and all that stuff. If you use yours for brakes, make sure you clean it out. Do not mix hydraulic fluid with the reverb oil, okay? Make sure it's cleaned out with alcohol real well. Just an FYI on that one. But ultimately on this remote, you will need this bleeding edge tool for a Reverb 1X remote. Unlike the old push button remote, you just needed two of these simple ones. Why they made that change, who knows? But anyway, oil, reverb, hydraulic fluid oil for a reverb post basically is what you need. They sell them in small packs like this. You don't need all that much. Half of one will be more than enough, all right? Let's bleed this post or this remote. To bleed the post is going to have to be removed from the seat tube. And the way I see it, there's three options as far as bleeding it. One, having somebody to help you out. Because again, the post has to be removed from the seat tube, but it still has to be connected to the cable, right? So if somebody's there with you, they could basically hold the post for you while you bleed it. Not ideal. Chances are you're going to be by yourself like I am most of the time. Two, you remove the post from the bike. If you have a bike stand, you lean the bike on the bike stand, and then you clamp the post onto the clamp on the bike stand, and that's a great way to actually bleed the post. That's if you have a bike stand. If you don't have a bike stand, you're going to remove the post from the bike, and what you're going to do is figure out a way to lay it and strap it down to the rear tire with the bleed port sticking up. So this, you don't need a vise, by the way. This is literally emulating if the post was strapped to a rear tire of the bike and the bike is leaning, I don't know, on a table, on a wall, who cares, wherever you want to lean it, right? So you are going to have the post removed from the seat tube butt, right? Now, to remove the post from the seat tube, the cable is going to be attached to it for starters. Chances are you're not going to have enough slack to just remove the post. Maybe you do. I don't know how much slack you have in your cable on your bike. But chances are you're going to have to remove the remote from the handlebar and then feed some cable to be able to pull out the post, right? Feed some cable into the bike frame in order to be able to pull out the post, and then take the post, place it, well, like I said, either somebody holds it for you, put it on a bike stand, or place it on the tire and figure out a way to strap it with like Velcro or a strap wrench, tie down, so on and so forth, right? So I have other dropper videos that go into removing droppers from posts that show, you know, a nice little way to just, you know, get the cable down the tube without having to disconnect your remote completely. So that will definitely help you out. All right. So we're going to assume that you're tying it to the back wheel over here. That's what we're emulating. and we are going to start to bleed from there. Next, we want to prep the syringes. We're going to take our bottle of oil, we're going to open it up, right? Again, we have our dropper syringe, we have our remote syringe over here. So it doesn't matter which one. One we're going to fill up about halfway. The other one we are going to fill up just a little bit, right about not even an eighth of the way. If this is a brand new cable and you have no oil, then fill up one of them 3/4 of the way. This one has oil in there, so I don't have to worry about it all that much. So what I'm going to do is, it doesn't matter which side. I'm just going to fill up the remote side for now. Now, fill about halfway. That should do it. Now, if you notice, there's bubbles in here, right? Let this thing sit until all the bubbles come out. In fact, what we're going to do is, just like I treat my brakes, suck down all the oil into the syringe, and then lift the syringe up until all the air comes out. So we won't have to mess with too much air in the system. And there we go. Now, just let the system sit there. Let these air bubbles dissipate. It's going to take a couple of minutes, okay? Put it on the side. You can let it sit up even better. And the other one, again, we're just going to fill it up just a bit right there. Again, it's going to have bubbles in it. We want those bubbles to dissipate. Empty it out from the actual hose part and then force it through. Again, there's a whole bunch of little bubbles over there. Let them just dissipate and turn into one big bubble. It's going to take a few minutes. While we're waiting for the bubbles, what we're going to do is connect our cable. So this is a housing on the cable, right? Pull it, cable all the way down, the housing all the way up. We're going to take it, screw it in. Then technically, this does have a torque value of like 6-8 Newton meters. Basically, a nice hand fist tight, basically, right? A fist tight. So we're going to take it with the 13 millimeter, and we're just going to make it nice and snug, a nice, comfortable, snug. Don't over tighten it. No need to over tighten this. Then what we are going to do is, we have a bleed screw here, T10 to remove the bleed screw. Okay, remove the bleed screw and leave it on the side. Now, on the remote, we have, for the 1X, we have a flap over here. Okay, now we have two dials. One of them is a bleed port, and the other one is your speed control, which determines how fast the post goes up and down. So if you notice, there's a speed plus. So if we turn it all the way clockwise, it's fully open. Well, it's at the full speed position. In other words, it'll be at the fastest position for the post to go up and down. We need to make sure that we are complete opposite of that, fully counterclockwise. So we need to bring it out and leave it out. Don't overscrew it. Once you hit the end, there's no more, right? You hit the end with your fingers, that's it. You're at the end. Don't try and force more out of it. Okay. Next up, we do the bleed. Before we actually bleed, we have the bleed port. That bleed port for the bleeding edge tool is a 3 millimeter Allen. Now, you could put the tool in there, and sometimes it'll be real hard to try and open up the port, right? So what you can do, I should have mentioned this in the tool section, it might come in handy, not all the time. Just grab a 3 millimeter Allen, put in the bleed screw in here, loosen it. Ooh, this one's super tight. I would have never been able to do it, right? Just loosen it and tighten it back down, but don't over tighten it, just enough to be able to open it up with the bleeding edge tool, okay? So next, what we are going to do, take our syringe and put it in the bleed port of the dropper. Now, since we loosened it, again, you might not have to do that. On this one, obviously I had to because it was real stiff. So we're going to take our bleeding edge tool. Now what we're going to do is fit it in there. Again, it's a 3 millimeter, snaps in basically, right? And that's pretty much it. So now I could open it, right? So what we're going to do is we're going to take it and we're going to open it one full turn. There we go. Okay. And now we literally bleed just like you would a brake. There's absolutely no difference over here, okay? So what we're going to do is push down on our syringe here, and bubbles came out of that side already. In fact, there'll be a bunch of bubbles coming out. Hopefully you can see that well. Right, now don't let go of this, because this is actually a bad design in my opinion for this. This could slip out with pressure or pop out with pressure, so make sure you hold on to this, right? And basically what we're going to do is empty this guy, and if you notice, the other side is filling up. Some bubbles are coming out. All right, let me see if I can tilt it like this. I'll bring it down. Okay. And then what we can do is create some vacuum. Don't over vacuum it because you're going to be pulling air. Again, this isn't a tight seal over here, right? So just slight. Very little. Okay, no bubbles coming out. Now what we're going to do is we're going to push the other side down. See if we get more bubbles out this side. And we are going to do that back and forth until there are no bubbles. Okay. Let's see if we can see more over here. Let's bend this for you, see if you can see it. Again, if it's totally empty, there's going to be a lot of bubbles coming out. This one already had some fluid in it, so I don't have to worry about all that much. Now, let's do this side. Oh, got some over there. Okay, let's go back. Had one small one come out on that side. And fourth. Oh, we got one climbing up right now. Yeah, help it up. Tap it up. Make sure you see it come out the port, or else you're just going to pop it back into the system. There we go. It just popped up, right? Now we can press down. Okay, now we could vacuum on this side. But it's going to suck in because this isn't a tight connection. Like I said, it's actually a pretty dumb design in my opinion. Shouldn't have done it like this. I don't know why they did. Okay. Fourth, what you can do also, be careful, make sure it doesn't pop up. Actuate the remote, just make sure there's no bubbles that might be caught around it. Force this guy down. For some reason, the seal on this guy didn't take all that well. I don't know why. Push it down. Shouldn't have leaked that much. And pop them out. Let me close them up. Pop them out. Nope, for some reason the seal didn't take all that well. Okay, open them up one more time. I'm nearly done anyway. There's basically nothing coming out of here. Okay. Do it one more time. That's clear on this side. And that is clear too. Okay, so first what we're going to do, close them at the remote side. Okay, get this oil out of here. And close them at the remote side. And then grab our bleed screw. We are going to remove this port over here and make sure that the hole is filled with oil just like it is. It's totally filled. If it needs more oil, just put some in here. Just press just a little bit in. Well, not that much, but just a little bit in there, right? So, and then we put our bleed screw in. Finger tight. Don't over tighten them here. All right. And now what we can do is just check this guy. Open them up again. Okay, and just slowly pulse them while pressing the remote, just to make sure that there are no bubbles. Yep, we're good. And then screw them down hard. Finish them up. Again, this is tightened down. Pull out the syringe, spray them down with alcohol. Clean any oil off of it. both sides. Make sure we clean in here. Okay. And next we're going to test them. To test them, again, this is emulating being in your bike. We're going to take the remote, we're going to press on it, and push it down. There we go, and he stops. Press the remote, boom, he comes back up. There we go. Let's push him down. Let's slowly bring him back up. A lot of flexibility with these posts. Real slow. You got a lot of precision with these posts. That's what makes them nice, right? So that's good. Now it's, if you remember, we put it to the completely the slowest position. Let's take our T25 again, and we are going to turn it clockwise to the fastest position. Okay. And now it should go down quicker and easier, and it should, boom, pop up a lot quicker and easier. Boom, look at that go. Perfect, we are doing great. That is working super. And there you have it, folks. You just bled your Reverb 1X remote to your dropper post. Super easy job, guys. Reverbs are good posts, man. And right now, I'm telling you, you could find them for really, really great prices on the used market. Over the years, they sort of have this, like, you know, reputation, but ultimately there were a few revisions made. The C1 definitely took care of a few issues that the A1 and the B1 had. And ultimately, even those will last you a long time. They just need some service. They're not all that hard. And again, Rockshox, just like Fox with the transfer, they allow you to fully service it, but Rockshox is much easier to service than the Fox transfers by far. So you buy this on the used market. I mean, I'm not kidding, man. You can pick them up for real cheap prices these days, and you'll have a really good post that'll last you for a long time, okay? As always, with all dropper post services, after the first few rides of using them, make sure you clean, wipe off, like here, any excess grease that comes out, so too much dirt doesn't collect on the actual body over here and make the wiper's job harder than it needs to be. Outside of that, put it on your bike, go out there and ride it, man, and have a lot of fun with your post and your bike and enjoy it, okay? So for anybody out there that found this video helpful or liked this video, please click the like button, man. It would be super appreciated. Click the subscribe button to see more videos. Click the bell button, in order to get notified when new videos get released, and more videos are coming, all right? So until then, I hope all is well with all of you, and we will be talking to you soon. Take care. Have a good one.